Hi there, my name is Memo, this is my channel, Houseplanty Goodness, and essentially it's a place where I like to geek out about my big passion, which you might be able to see around me. It's tropical houseplants. Now today I want to bring into focus a plant that I've had another one or two videos I think that I've done on this, but I thought I'd give a bit of an update video. And today I want to talk a bit more about the Philodendron Florida Ghost. So let me pick up the plant and let's talk through it, shall we? Okay, so you might be able to see the plant in front of me, and you can see it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 new leaves. One is still unfurling, and I think we've got a couple of cataphyls with some more leaves coming through. This is growing quite nicely. You can see it's a bit sparse here, and I think I might have lost a leaf or two. I'm trying to see now, actually. I don't know if I have, but there's quite a few activation points. So you can see a bit more of the gnarled stem there with some of the roots wrapping around with my forever janky support sticks. But you can see it's a slightly creamy yellowy leaf. It has got, hopefully that's getting picked up properly on the camera, but it's got a bit of a pinky red peach type petiole. So that's the part that connects the leaf to the actual stem. And you can see some of the older leaves down here. There's a lot of people that go on about mint variegation on this plant. I've had another video. I'm not going to go off on a tangent again, but just know that there's no such thing as a mint Florida Ghost. They all will go either white or cream colored. It just depends on the light levels. This has been trying to go down to a green color, and actually this plant, since I got it, it's very good at bringing out creamy or white leaves, but it's very rare for it to go fully down to a green color. It stays this kind of minty color that you can see around. And the reason why you can see as many growth points as you can on this plant is, I don't know whether or not you were able to notice, I'm trying to see now if I can bring it up again so you can see about there. I think that was the only place. Yeah, I took a cutting for this plant, and just because it was getting too tall and it was hitting the ceiling of the conservatory again, you can see the slightly yellowy color rather than a pure white, and that's because I still have some of the shade cloths up on the conservatory. When I remove those, especially in the wintertime when this grows, even in the wintertime, because it loves the level of light that it gets, I tend to get slightly more creamy, less yellow and more white leaves then, because it's getting much more bright light on it. Slightly more diffuse, obviously, because it's wintertime and live in the UK, so it's permanently cloudy. But works well in this case for this plant because the clouds almost act as my shade cloth in the sky. Yeah, growing back quite nicely. I will say things that I've learned about this plant, and I might put this down just because it'll be a bit easier to talk to you, and I'll pick up the propagation in a minute and show you that as well. Okay. So you can see I've put the plant down next to me. The thing to know about this plant generally, and something that I've experienced, and this is the update part from my previous videos, this is the first time that I've chopped it to propagate it. And I've learned a few things along the way. One, it took a while for the new growth points to activate. Two, definitely get a situation of apical dominance where I've released the apical dominance because I've chopped off that growing tip, and because of that I now have two growth points instead of the one. So we'll get bushier. I should be able to take even more cuttings and hopefully give them out to friends. I'm not particularly great. I don't think I've ever sold any plants so far. There's always that thing when most people get into their rare tropical plants, especially when you've got other halves and you're sitting there going, oh, it's fine, I'll just chop it up and sell it and make some profit. That's why we've got all these plants in the house. But I can't ever bring myself to sell the plant after I've propagated it, but I have given it to friends. Usually there's a story to go along with that plant. It means a lot to them. Maybe it's because it's replacing a plant that kind of died in their care and they want to give it another go, but they don't have the cash to try it again. And the way that I see it, it's some good karma. I had a situation about a year ago where I got a big wish list plant from me, and it failed miserably. Will and have never bought again from the same seller, but I did find somebody else to buy from who probably gave me too good of a deal, if that makes sense. It should have been a lot more, but I kind of explained the situation. So I took that as some good karma coming my way, and I feel that it's only right to pass on that good karma, basically. And it's nice. It gives the plant a bit of a story, and I think people become a lot more attached to plants when there's a bit of a nice feel-good story behind them, rather than just one that you've been wanting for a while and you finally managed and picked it up. Don't get me wrong, that's still quite nice. But I always find it's nice when you've got a bit of a story to go with the plant. Now, the other thing about this plant, and hopefully this came up when I was doing the close-ups, let me see if I can bring it in. Maybe you might be able to see it. I don't know whether or not the camera is going to be able to focus on it enough. You might be able to see some water droplets there. This plant definitely has extrafloral nectaries, and I've done another video, it's on my channel, do check it out, about what extrafloral nectaries is. But don't worry, it's not a pest, it's something that the plant does to call out the cavalry. And I'll leave it at that. Go check out the other video and find out a bit more if that's something that's worrying you. I'm not talking about the water that's coming off the leaf tip, especially with alocasias, which, if I'm not mistaken, is called guttation. I don't know, I think I may have done a video on guttation as well. Do check out my channel for that video. If not, come back, let me know in the comments, and I will definitely make that, because it's been on my to-do list for a very, very long time now, and I know a few people have asked. So yeah, not a particularly fast plant to come back from propagation. Let me pick up the propagation and show you as well. So the propagation you can see here, and I think actually, yes, it was one. I cut off the growing tip, but I cut it into 3 different sections. So I've got 3 different plants growing in this lechuza pond, and you might be able to see it. I've got it in a self-watering pot, and I pretty much cut it, went straight into the pond, put it in a reservoir as well, and lo and behold, this is one of the plants that I have found the easiest to grow directly from cutting into lechuza pond with a reservoir. So good to know. Equally difficult, not difficult, but slow to get going. Roughly the new leaves that started coming out on this plant started coming out at the same time that this one did. You might be able to see some cosmetic damage on some of the leaves here. That was part of the reason why I wanted to chop the plant up. Not because, and I've said this several times over, if a plant has a bit of a blemish or something like that, I'm not particularly bothered, because it does help the plant photosynthesize. But with this plant, as I said, it was hitting the roof, so I'm just like, and luckily one of the leaves that was a bit tarnished was one of the ones that were at the top, so I chopped it off, put it in here. I will eventually have 3 different plants, or maybe I'll just leave it in the one container and just get a very, very bushy plant of a Philodendron Florida Ghost. You might be able to see some of the more mature morphology of this plant, so you get much more pronounced lobes. You start getting some of the splitting on the arms and the legs of the little ghost, because essentially that is where it gets its name. If you can imagine, that's the head there, the arms, and the little legs as well. So kind of cute. But overall, I get what the hype is now with this plant. A lot of people really, really want to get their hands on a Florida Ghost. And yeah, it's easy. It's an easy care plant, I find. Some people might struggle with keeping it white or creamy, but as I said, just give it as much light as possible. I almost give this plant as much light as I would a succulent. So it's pretty much baking in a south-facing window. That gives you an idea. As long as you keep on top of the watering, you should be fine. This was also a plant that I find doesn't mind too much if it goes a bit dry. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to say about this. If you've got any questions, comments, do drop them down below. I'd love to have that conversation with you. In the meantime, hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully I shall see you here soon. And I truly hope that you have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.